Hey everyone, my name is Katie Walker with Grow and Guide Kids, and I'm here today to create some content and some videos to prepare parents for this upcoming school year and current pandemic that's happening. If you're anything like me, you are confused, you don't know what to think. Should I send my kids to school? Should I homeschool? Should I virtual school? Because virtual and homeschool are different. What should I do? I feel like whatever decision you make also is there is the other side of the party who is judging you, who is looking at you. So if you homeschool, you get looked at. If you virtual school, you get looked at. If you send your kids to school, you get looked at. And so I partnered with the Choose Love movement to create content on trauma. And if you've seen, I've created brain builder videos that I would love for you to check out and watch. But today I want to kind of stop in and create some new content first for you parents and how to survive this upcoming school year, how to survive this ongoing pandemic and keep afloat. So first I want to talk to you about trauma. I am a trauma specialist. I specialize also specifically with children's mental health. And the thing about trauma and the thing about this pandemic that's rare is, first of all, this is a shared trauma. The thing about shared trauma means us as a community is going through it. And so with trauma, we go into our 3 stages in our brainstem when we go into fight, flight, or freeze. Once again, you can learn all about this in more detail if you check out the Brain Builder series. However, we go into our fight, flight, or freeze. Normally, when you go see a trauma therapist, one of the things we advise you to do is to really watch what are you doing. Are you fighting? Are you flighting? Or are you freezing? And we advise you to move out of that, to get unstuck, and to move forward. However, the unusual thing about COVID and this pandemic is that we are in very certain ways stuck. We are stuck at home. We have been, if I don't know where you are watching this from, but stuck, maybe that's a shutdown, maybe that's the school closing, whatever that may look like. Also the mask mandates, that's a physical feeling of feeling stuck. Is we feel stuck. And so as a trauma therapist, you look at this and you can't tell your brain to move out of the freeze when we feel frozen. We are physically and mentally stuck. And so also that means we're stuck with our children. So we're experiencing this as parents, as workers, as children. Maybe you're, stuck with dealing with your parents that might be elderly, as whatever that may be. We're stuck, and as a community, we're stuck. So today I want to talk about how to move forward with that. A lot of parents' approach I've heard is kind of downplaying that event. So what I want you to understand that downplaying, ignoring, so let me start over. Downplaying, ignoring current events to your kid actually closes down lines of communication with them due to them feeling embarrassed to ask questions about it or to tell you they're worried, since your attitude reflects that it's not important. So in some circumstances, you might feel it's okay that to fake it till you make it, to not give in and letting your kids know and stuff like that. But in this situation, it is so known as a community and as a world that things are different. So if you downplay it and ignore it, then what you're telling your kids is that you're not worried about it and it's not important. So when we compartmentalize this information and don't share it with our kids, when we compartmentalize information as a way to protect our family, we inadvertently isolate them from feeling confident and competent about their role in the family. We're actually excluding them from conversations and not allowing them their natural curiosity to take part, and therefore disconnecting the family unit. So bring them in. So once again, back to downplaying. You downplaying an event does not actually create calmness within your home. Instead, it creates internal chaos within the child and leaves them wondering what the actual truth is. So your kids know that something is going on, and if you choose to downplay the current event, then you're role modeling to your child that the said event might be stupid or dumb, and the people are overreacting to it. Therefore, children in your home, if you're doing this, could feel abnormal if they start to worry and panic. Children might also feel like they can't come to you due to feeling embarrassed or stupid about their emotions. So today I want to provide you with 3 ways to create an open dialogue with your child during this time. This is good for the pandemic. This is good for any event in your life that happens, and you can use this well outside the scope of the pandemic. But 3 ways to create open dialogue. First is to validate. Validate, validate, validate. I could say that a million times. Validate your children's emotions. It doesn't matter. Maybe they're angry. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they're frustrated. Maybe they're overjoyful. I have actually found myself that I am a little bit of an overachiever during pandemic. I have learned that I don't like to slow down. I keep myself busy and go, go, go. So don't equate productivity with doing okay. Productivity and what you're doing has no clue on mental health. And so please do not look at the child in your home and say, oh, well, they're powering through this, they're good. So validate any and all emotions. Second, once you validate them, normalize them. Share how you feel. Now, I always say, please be careful. Your child is not an appropriate person to hold space for you. Please do not overshare with your child. Please do not ask them to hold space for you. However, normalize. Let them know. Come alongside and say, I kind of feel nervous too. I kind of feel anxious too. Normalize. And then when they're talking, this is the third and most important part, I feel. Do not interrupt, do not take over, do not downplay, anything like that. Instead, use this time to be an emotional coach and use coping skills together. That means when they're talking to you, a lot of times we fall into this habit of saying, oh, me too, or well, you're just a kid and it's the summertime, or you just have school. I'm an adult who has to pay the bills, or we tell a story about how we cope. A lot of parents feel like we have to jump to the rescue of our children and tell them what to do or solve the problem. We do not have to be fixers. This is a problem. This pandemic is not something we can fix. So let's just come in an emotional coach and work on that emotional IQ, as I call it, or we call it EQ. And so come in alongside of them, tell them, once you normalize and tell them you're anxious, share with them coping skills. You like to breathe. It helps you feel better. I love the program of the Sensational Kids, and that would be great to do together. Do it together as a family. Cope together as a family. And so I hope you can use these coping skills to bring openness within your family. And then the last thing I want to teach you is, well, Katie, this pandemic is going on. There's chaos outside in their world. There's so much happening with the pandemic, with the Black Lives Matter movement that we're seeing, with just so many things in our world, school, and what we're doing. And so how can I bring calmness into my home? So the last thing I want to teach you today is there's 4 ways to bring calmness into your home in the middle of outside chaos. So the first way to bring calmness into your home is to communicate age-appropriate facts. Facts are not the same as fear. And I wish I could give you this beautiful manuscript that says, teach your kids this, say that. I cannot do that. You know your child. I do not know your child, but communicate how you feel age-appropriate facts. Remove the emotions from that and communicate. Just communicate what you know. It's okay to say you don't know. Number 2 is create a dialogue. You can create a dialogue by using the 3 ways that we talked about earlier. Number 3, here I go. I said I could say it a million times. Validate, validate, validate. Validate all feelings about the event. And then last but not least, let them have a sense of control. During times of chaos and uncertainty, when we feel like things are completely outside of our control, we actively seek. There goes my dog. We're going to have to edit that. Let me get back on track. So number 4, let them have a sense of control. In the middle of chaos and when things are outside of our control, we actively seek a sense of control. So children in your home often struggle with this because they don't feel like they have control. They're a child. They have no control over anything, and we as parents do. So intentionally give them control. I always say never more than 2 options, but what they wear, what they have to eat, point out control. Sometimes they have control, the brain just can't notice it. So show them, oh, I love how you chose to wear that red shirt. Red looks so good on you. I love that you chose to eat an orange for a snack. What a good choice. Whatever that may be, point out control. Or double check that you're not micromanaging and having over control in your children's life. So be intentional about delegating control in age appropriate forms. So I hope you guys are able to use these skills to bring calmness into your home from the outside chaos. I wish you the best of luck. I'm there with you, but together we're going to survive.